Hello and welcome to another round of racing here with Dark Helmet Racing League. My name is Morgan with the Cleveland Beamer Sim Sports channel, and we're back for round 6 of the GTD challenge, this time in a mixed weather round at Suzuka. Right now we have kicked off qualifying. Drivers are just now getting around to start their first hot lap. A bunch of purple sectors being seen here, so we are going to transition to our timing and scoring board here. And I think we're going to ride along with Nathan Nickerson for a little bit. Nathan currently setting the board alight with purple sectors. Suzuka, pretty tough track here. This is all about flow, and definitely a track that really punishes you for overdriving the car. So many places where restraint is required. And Nathan just cruising along, setting more and more purple sectors. That said, let's see where Ryan Merriam is. Ryan also setting purple sector times. Ryan looks like he's a little further back in the lap, so keep an eye on Ryan. Ryan in the Aston Martin, Nathan in the Mercedes, both Mercedes powered. Let's take a look at Ricky Renner. Also, Ricky set the fastest of all middle sector. And it looks like Ricky should be just behind Nathan. Let's check on Nathan. Yeah, Nathan's a little further ahead, so we'll hang out with Nathan for a hot second. Nathan going into the final chicane here, where you got to use all them curves and get on the power as soon as you can. And as he approaches the line, he is going to set our benchmark time here with a 1:58.9. Let's see what Ricky Renner does. Ricky Renner improving on Nathan's lap by about a 1/10. Nice job there. And then let me see if I can find Ryan. Ryan now crossing the line and takes the fastest lap of all, 1:58.5. That is a nice lap from Ryan. So far, the Aston Martins making themselves known up front, but we do have some time spread around. Mitch Bowen in the Porsche showing these platinum-rated drivers what's up. Currently sitting in P4 and has set several purple sector times. Porsche, not the most competitive car here on the track if you follow the meta, but it's, you know what, in the right hands it can always get the job done. So we'll keep an eye on Mitch, see where he lands. Brandon Dooley, one of the Dark Helmet Racing League admins, currently sitting P5. Acura right now is definitely going to be a weapon today. It is always fast in the dry, and there were some wet laps that I saw out there where the Acura looked like it may be on top with the Ferrari. It's not what you see when you look at the average driver times that are out there, but when I look at the outliers, it definitely has potential. Let's see where Brandon falls here. By the way, why am I talking about rain? So we are going to have a 15-minute sprint race that will be dry, and then it's going to go to a 40-minute feature race that will be wet. Nice lap, Brandon. Coming across the line in P2. Nathan Nickerson also coming across to take P1. Improved on his time, went down to a 58.05. Brandon Dooley with a 58.28. Both really solid times. So far, taking a look at Ryan, was not able to improve on his time the last lap, and neither was Ricky Renner. So we'll see how this evolves. Let's take a look at who do I want to take a look at? Hey, let's take a look at Mark Sherman, who's currently in P9 and is the top placing bronze rated driver right now. Looks like we have about 20 cars on track, so that's pretty solid results there from Mark. Currently at 2:01.29, rocking the Lambo. Lambo certainly fast at Suzuka. Probably one of the most on-the-nose cars that you can get in iRacing in general. And with this kind of flowy track, if you can steer that car almost with a throttle, you can definitely get it to put in amazing lap times. We'll see where Mark falls as times keep coming in, but definitely got great machinery there. Let's see what else we got going on. So Mark Sherman doing a heck of a job. Ryan Frey out there also in the Aston Martin, currently taking P9 from Mark. Also rocking Aston Martin machinery. I see decent amount of Aston Martins there, but I see a little bit of everything, which is kind of what we like to see. Speaking of a little bit of everything, haven't looked at BMWs yet, and Rich Hibbs just crossing the line now in our top placing BMW, currently P6 with a 1:59.1. Definitely a solid lap time, and this is going to be a scenario where adaptability is going to be key. The drivers now are going to be getting used to this track. They had an hour of practice in the dry, and now they're going to have a 15-minute race in the dry. But the 40-minute feature is going to be wet, rather. It's going to be light rain, so definitely no torrential iRacing shenanigans, but it is still going to be tricky once the track gets wet. Times are still flooding in, and we're having a lot of shakeups here. Let's see what we can see. Looks like Mitch has fallen down to P8. We have a lot of guys leapfrogging ahead. Looks like Patrick Hamed has jumped up to P5. Troy Banks in the McLaren dropping to 58.94. Patrick and Troy only 100th apart, which is pretty damn close if I do say so myself. Nathan Nickerson still holding that top spot, followed by Brandon Dooley and then Ryan Merriam. So far we have a Mercedes, Acura, Aston Martin, top three. I keep following along with Troy Banks. Troy is setting personal bests. See if he can improve on that time. Still have 5 drivers yet to post a time. Oh, and they're not going to. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Well, that is going to be that. Lost track of my timer. The 10 minutes has expired, and we are now going to go to the sprint race. Currently, should have about 1 minute and 45 seconds for everybody to grid. And then we will kick this action off. While we're waiting on everybody to grid,
15-minute sprint.
We'll let Brandon talk.
We have the green flag is on the leader or the iRacing green flag, whichever comes first. Good luck, have fun, hopefully you don't die. Do have a 5-minute warm-up after this, and then into the 40-minute feature. Good luck.
Could not have said it better myself. So that's how the session's going to play out. While we're waiting on everybody to grid, we have a couple of things to talk about. First of all, there are, after this event, I believe 6 events left in order to qualify for our biggest giveaway ever. Tons of things in there. Brandon's put together some great prizes. I was able to toss in something myself, but we have Pokornyi grid browse, Pokornyi 5-inch touchscreen display. We're gonna have a Cube Controls round steering wheel, all kinds of good stuff there. And then our raffle for the Cube Controls CSX3 opened up When did it open up? Midnight Saturday. So already have a bunch of entries for that. If you would like to get entered for it, I believe we will have this open until
Thank you.
11:59 p.m. the 5th of December. So it's a 3-week entry period. For that, $20 entries get you a chance to win a $1,400 plus steering wheel with carbon fiber ship paddles, color display, backlit buttons, all the goodies. So we look forward to giving that away to one lucky winner. And again, if you want more info on that, hit the giveaways section of the Discord. Let's get timing and scoring up here, as well as our battles box. And I think we will be ready to kick off. Let's take a look at Nathan and follow along as we approach the final set of turns here. This last chicane, unless you turn off early where the cones are, like Nicholas Latifi did, this final chicane is the run-up to the start-finish line. Green's going to be on Nathan, or if iRacing drops the green, it looks like he's taken off. And away we go. So far, so good from the pack. Got a lot of weaving back there, but so far everybody's keeping it clean. 19 drivers barreling towards turn 1, and Nathan is going to have a commanding lead thus far. And I am hearing some sliding. Did everybody make it through back there? Oh, we have a slow Lambo. Not what we want to see. We'll catch up on that in a minute. I see a message here that Ryan Frey went off track, so we will catch the replay, see what happened to Ryan in just a moment. Right now, Ryan Merriam pretty much hustling Brandon along here. Brandon doing a good job keeping a cool head and making it through the lap. Right now approaching the hairpin. No crazy dive bombs yet. Everybody being patient is what I like to see. Oh, somebody going off back there. I guess that was Tim Allman that went off. Back in the two right-handers. So far, it looks like everybody's making it through Spoon okay. Gonna follow these guys down through, what is this, 180R? 120R, something like that? Why don't I look up the turn names? Everybody keeping it clean through there. It is not a full throttle turn in these cars. Gotta have a little bit of a lift to get that front end to grip up and make it through. Nathan doing what he can to break the toe. Doesn't want to give anybody too much of the ability to get on his bumper. Brandon still with Ryan trying to get around him. That's 130R. That's what it was. These guys still keeping it clean as we approach the Degnas. This is another high commitment corner. You carry too much and you will get in the gravel and go for a ride. As Ryan just about experienced back there. We're going to follow Ricky because his getting a little wide allowed Ricky Renner to get alongside. Ricky on the outside of the hairpin is going to have a hard time getting a run, but he's sticking with it. Currently side by side as we approach Spoon. And Ricky is going to take that place from Ryan. Nice job, Ricky. Ricky getting a little bit understeer after pushing his way through Spoon, but still has a good exit. It looks like we got a little bit of a minute. Let's see what happened at race start. Oh, with the Lambo getting in the back of Ryan. Now we know what happened to Ryan, and you know what? Good on the Lambo for waiting. So now we know why he was going slow. Love the sportsmanship. Let's see what happened to Tim Allman. Tim in the McLaren. Yeah, just carrying a little bit too much speed. Was able to keep it out of the wall. Great job. Love to see the save. Nice job. Looks like we have some passing action as well. We have a Porsche going wide in 130R, and that's going to allow Caesar to get on by. So far, everybody's spreading out. As Ricky works on how he is going to get past Brandon Dooley. Brandon currently holding him off, but the gap's holding at about 0.3 of a second. Uh-oh, James Scott has crashed. Let's see what's going on with James. James in the Rexy Porsche. So far looks good here. We gonna lose the rear end? Oh, nope, just carrying a little too much speed, going wide. No harm, no fouls, able to get back on the track. We're gonna get back up with the leaders. And Ricky right up to the diffuser, almost a Brandon. Down to less than 0.2 of a second as we approach 130R here. This is a tough corner to go too wide in, and Ricky certainly is not going to send it this time around. I think that's probably the wise move. Ricky just trying to be patient. Currently, got some other gaps coming down. What's going on with Rich Hibbs? Rich right on the bumper of Troy, getting pushed up on the wall. And Rich is going to get it done. We're going to come up to Ricky Renner, who also got side by side with Brandon Dooley. And Ricky is going to get the move done. These guys using the draft to their advantage on the start-finish straight. Let's see that pass again. Ricky just able to get side by side, and Brandon giving him plenty of room. Good job, Ricky. Try to keep an eye on these gaps. Looking further back, Troy is not done with Richard Hibbs. Richard able to get around, but Troy staying right on the back of Richard, not letting him get away. That McLaren getting great traction out of the hairpin. Is able to stay within jumping distance here of Richard. Most importantly, he is within the toe, so if he can get a good exit out of Spoon here, he will be able to get a run. Looks like Rich holds a little tighter line there, but it wasn't too bad out of Troy either. Troy slowly reeling Richard in, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. Oh, and Philip Scott in the background just getting a little too much of the curving in 130R and loses the rear end. That is unfortunate from Philip Scott. Brandon trying to reel Ricky back in, but the gap is getting a little bit larger. Currently up to almost a second. With Ryan back behind Brandon. seeing if he can find his way around. While these guys are working this out, let's take a look and see what happened to Phil. I'm going to back that up again. Ah, he got into the AstroTurf right here, so when he hit the curbing, it just bottomed out the car. And at that point, Phil is just a passenger. That is definitely unfortunate. Ryan is right there. But it doesn't matter because Brandon's getting an excellent run out of the hairpin. Definitely not going to make anything happen as of yet. Meanwhile, Ricky Renner is reeling in Nathan. Gap down to about, we'll call it 8/10. I'll have to keep an eye on these guys because I think in a couple of laps, certainly before the checkered, if Ricky can keep it clean, he is going to catch up to Nathan. Meanwhile, Brandon Dooley hustling that Acura around to keep ahead of Ryan in the Aston. Definitely good stuff here. Everybody keeping it clean. Got a little bit of a draft train, but nobody is in passing distance yet. Speaking of passing, looks like Rob Dove got a pass done on... Looks like that's Todd Schwartz. Porsche on Porsche crime here. Rob going for the inside and able to get around Todd Schwartz. I love the Christmas story livery, Todd. That's awesome. Going back up front, we have some pretty close gaps, but no position changes yet. Nathan Nickerson currently has Ricky Renner as close company, about 3/10 behind, and as these guys start to fight, that's going to allow Brandon and Ryan to pull back up to them as well. Ooh, Ryan, so close. Not going to get done the hairpin there, but very close. The gap to Brandon and Nathan, both at 3/10. These guys are so close. I want to give some love to the guys behind. We got another battle happening here. Mitch getting right up to Troy. Troy's been trying to chase Rich down after Rich got the P6 position from him, but now Mitch is joining the party in P8. And slowly but surely reeling these guys in. Let's hop up front to Nathan as I see that gap coming down to Ricky. Ricky within 2/10. Nathan keeping Ricky on his toes, trying not to make the draft too easy to follow. Brandon Dooley with the same problems on his end as well. Everybody has some kind of Mercedes-powered car chasing. Ooh, and what was up with James Scott just chilling there? Is that James Scott? Let's see. Yeah, that is James Scott. Just went wide. Oh, and I am assuming he is letting everybody by, which is very nice, but that is definitely a precarious place to be. I definitely get not wanting to have the leaders knocking on your door when you're trying to make your way through all the S's and the Degnas. It's definitely high risk. I'm just going to take a quick peek at James. Oh, and James is moving. All right, that's what we want to see. And as predicted, as Ricky and Nathan have been fighting, this has allowed Brandon and Ryan to slowly get up to these guys. Right now, this group separated by about 1.5 seconds. And you know what? I just now noticed Ricky Renner has taken the lead. Let's see if I can find that. I don't know. How in the world I missed that? And just found the replay. Let's jump on board, see what happened. All right, going through turn 2, and Ricky just getting that inside line, taking advantage of maybe a little bit of chaos with the Porsche sitting there, and taking that #1 spot. And now Brandon is reeling that Mercedes and Nathan in. We'll see if he is able to catch him by the finish. This is definitely the white flag lap, so only 10 or so turns to get this done. Ryan just really hustling Brandon along. Brandon not succumbing to the pressure, doing what he needs to do. Probably thinking at the same time, well, gosh, how am I going to get around Nathan at the same time without letting Ryan by? Let's see what these guys are able to put together here in the second half of the lap. Meanwhile, we got a bunch of passes happening behind. I see Mark Sherman's getting some passes on. Let's take a look what's going on here. Looks like on Todd Swartz, Aston Martin goes awry. And I gotta tell you, I'm noticing I am jumping around at just the worst moments. I see Brandon Dooley got around Nathan. You know what, we're gonna bail and see what happened there. Hang out with these guys, see if Nathan goes for a late lunge. He does not. Let's see what happened. Oh, and Brandon, just with that superior run out of the hairpin, is able to get it done on the run to Spoon. Nice job, Brandon. And that's going to do it. Ricky Renner across the line P1, Brandon Dooley P2, and Nathan Nickerson's able to hold off Ryan to finish P3. Let's go a little further back. We still have some battles happening here. Let's hang out with Rob, who is about 3/10 behind Alex. Alex going a little deep. And that's going to allow Rob to get a great run.
Go
the inside. Go the inside. There you go. It's going to be a drag race. Oh, and Alex is able to hold him off by 9/100ths of a second. Nice job. And that, I think, is going to do it. You know what? That's some pretty good racing. Now we're going to reset. The rain's going to start to fall. There's going to be a short 5-minute practice, and then we're going to get on to our 40-minute features. So I am going to get the results up, and we'll talk here in about 5 minutes. All right,
All right,
we
here we
should
go.
have everybody
40-minute
lined up.
feature. Green flag will be on the leader or the iRacing green flag as usual, whichever comes first. Good luck. Have fun. Hope that you don't die. Be patient. Give people some space. And good luck. Thanks for coming out.
All right, we're going to give these guys a few seconds to grid up. Should be about 40 seconds remaining. And then we'll kick this thing off.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
All right, and in record time, I was able to scarf down my dinner. And we are ready to kick off 40 minutes of wet weather action. Patience, as Brandon said,
I think it's safe to say that the dry strategy will not work.
Be key.
I wouldn't think so.
And as said on the radio, 100% dry strategy is not going to work.
Sorry about that.
Ruh-roh, do we already have some incident action? Yes, we do. A little bit of chaos, but they're able to get back together. What's going to be dangerous here is turn 1. That racing line is going to be treacherously slick. So patience is going to be key, and that is doubly so for anybody that's behind the leaders. Speaking of leaders, Ricky is taking off. So far, everybody's spreading out, just trying to be able to see going down turn 1. I am seeing everybody get through here fairly clean so far. That's what we like to see. I think that's the right approach taken by most of the drivers. Yeah, I don't see anything. I'm not going to jinx anybody. Brandon getting right up behind Nathan. Taking that inside line. Didn't quite get it done. But he's staying right there. Oh my gosh, these guys are on top of each other. Rich Hibbs, another one of the admins, going for the inside through the Degnas. Ooh, and gets the pass done. Rich feeling pretty confident in the wet in that BMW. Meanwhile, everybody else keeping it together. Ooh, we got a driver off track. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. Everybody gets it going. Yeah, that's definitely a tough situation there. You can have a really good spotter and
Sorry, I got forced off the track there.
have pretty good self-awareness to know, hey, if a driver's going off there,
Guys, I've got major damage. Let me know if you need a pass. I'll make sure that happens.
you gotta kind of know where they're gonna end up. That said, certainly easy to miss, and not everybody's gonna be able to just turn their head and see that. So definitely understand how it happened. And Richard Hibbs in the wet is a weapon in that BMW. Currently keeping it clean and making his skills known here. So far, opening up a pretty good gap here to P3. That spray is wicked. It is so hard to see in all of that mess. Alright, get up to Troy Banks here. The second group of cars that kind of got split up. Troy's lining up a pass. Oh, what in the world happened there? That was crazy. That was crazy. We're definitely going to get that in a replay. Brandon Dooley currently behind Nathan, trying to find his way around. And Troy Banks, I think, just braking on the racing line. Ooh, Brandon going for a ride. Keeping it together. Nice job limiting the damage there. And everybody's going off. Now Ryan goes off. It is so difficult to push here in the wet. You have to be patient. And you really have to play your lines. Braking and trying to turn on the traditional dry line is just going to cause the car to slide. A lot of these guys I'm seeing getting pretty close to that dry line. I've seen a couple of people, looks like they've had to lift so far to keep the car where they're going. And kind of the key here is you see the Marlboro car is able to get such a run. Oh, man. Wow, how did he save that? That is awesome. Way to go, TJ. But TJ was able to get that run around the outside because it is so far off the traditional racing line that it has all the grip. That traditional racing line with all the rubber is just super, super slippery once it gets wet. And massive shout out to TJ for saving that. That was awesome. Oh, and Ryan working on Nathan. Currently able to get around. Brandon Dooley following him. And looks like he is going to also be able to get around Nathan. We're going to hang out with Brandon just because, yeah, he backs out of it. That was wise. Brandon was on the traditional racing line, which is going to be slippy slidey. In my opinion, hugging the inside through turn 1 is a little bit faster. These guys taking a little bit of an alternate route, which is definitely okay. They got a lot more practice here than I do. Okay, let's catch back up to the chaos. Let's see if I can find where Troy died. Definitely not an indictment on Troy by any means. That was a crazy crash. There it is. Oh, and we have a Corvette just pulled over to the side to let these guys by. Alright, let's see this Troy Banks event. On the racing line. Oh, and it's the pit exit line. So, Troy, we're going to get it one more time. Troy goes over to the right and brakes right on this white pit exit line, which is going to be like ice. All the painted lines in the wet, just like the traditional racing line, they are going to be like ice. That is definitely bad luck. Looks like we have some other things going on here. James Scott had a moment. James in the Rexy Porsche, braking right now on the racing line and just not able to get it stopped. Again, that racing line is just, it has no grip. Let's see what else is going on. Todd Schwartz having a moment. Yeah, just getting a tire off there at the Degna. He's able to get the car scoop back up and keep it from becoming a way worse moment. He's gonna have a spin here too, but that just gives us another glimpse at this awesome livery. Damn, metallic too. I love that livery. All right, let's get back up to speed. Brandon Dooley currently working on Nathan Nickerson. Still Nathan in P4, Brandon in P5. We'll see what happens as the weather progresses. Ricky Renner with a commanding lead, 7 seconds ahead of Richard Hibbs. Getting a little squirrely, getting through the S's here. These guys just searching and searching where the grip's coming from. Every lap learning more and more. And definitely a tricky thing to do while you're in a racing situation. One wrong move is going to spell disaster, potentially. Ryan Merriam, P3, getting it wrong again at the Degnas, but is able to recollect it. No harm, no foul there. Even more gravel coming onto the track. That's okay. We'll just note that Brandon's about 3/10 behind Nathan. We'll get back up to these guys in just a moment. What else we have going on? That's Caesar working on TJ. TJ going for a ride. As well as Caesar. Caesar, that rear end sliding through the second Degna. Oh man, TJ just having a hard time getting the power down on that McLaren. These guys still following that traditional racing line. Gotta go a little wider, guys. Gotta go a little wider. But they're getting it figured out. Let's see, Michael McCone's having a moment. Let's see what's going on, Michael. Michael in the Mercedes going around the first Degna, making his way to the second. Currently on the racing lines. He's probably going to push wide. Yep. Ooh, having unwanted meeting with the wall there, but he's going to be able to get it spun around. We have fast repairs, so he should be able to get that thing reset, be just like new. All right. And I think Ryan is getting closer. Yep, Ryan's getting closer to Richard Hibbs. Currently a little over half a second. Guy's doing pretty decent times. Currently seeing in the 14s, 15s. Ryan, his last lap with a 13, though that it did include an off track. And Rich is just, he must have got a decent amount of practice because he is so confident going through the Degnas. And behind these guys, Brandon Dooley got the pass done on Nathan Nickerson. I think we should be safe to go take a peek at that. Looks like Nathan has a movement through 130R, and that's going to allow Brandon to get by. Nice job, Brandon. Has a good line through Spoon from Rich. That should allow him to stay out of the clutches of Ryan through 130R. Ooh, yep. And Ryan going for a bit of a ride there. That's certainly not going to help his cause, but he's back at it. And getting through the chicane, okay, it doesn't look like, yeah, too much issue. Oh my gosh, huge save. Oh my gosh. That went on forever.
My bad, man. Didn't mean to chop you there.
Nice job, Ryan. Let's get back to Philip Scott, who is trying to get around Christian. Oh, and Christian going into the pits. I don't know if this is some crazy strategy or if he has damage that he's worried about. That's going to put Phillip in provisional P8. As we got a car pointed the wrong way in turn 2. Looks like that's Alex. See what's going on with Alex. Alex currently on that. Yeah, going through the puddles there on the racing lines. Able to collect it there and just, yep. Put a little too much through the rear end there. Rutro and Ryan Merriam down to P7. What happened to Ryan? Loses the rear end approaching the Degnas. Oh, and then turns it. Yep, then he has to wait. That is definitely unfortunate. That's going to make his work a little harder, but he has the pace. We'll see if he's able to get back up to speed and reclaim some of those positions. Field beginning to spread out. Phillip opening up a gap to TJ, who has Caesar right behind. All these guys putting in a lot of work to keep it on track. Not the easiest thing to do in these conditions. As these guys are going around, looks like Todd Schwartz is able to work his way back up to P13. Let's see how it happened. Oh, and that will do it. Looks like the Porsche Christian just went for a ride through the hairpin, and uh-oh, Richard Hibbs also having a moment. Is this just a rear end getting away in turn one? Goes on the outside, gets off that racing line, and puts a tire on the painted line for the curbing there. And just has a bit of a moment. Still able to retain P2. So much was his lead. Nice. Uh-oh. Christian also going through it in the Porsche. This is the exit of 130R going into the final chicane. Ooh. Todd having a moment ahead. He navigates this all right. I don't know why this thing Christian crashed. Christian certainly did. Oh, I know why. It's because he slowed down so much. That'll do it. Let's see what's going on with Alex. Just gonna lose that rear end. Crossing over to the racing line. That is okay. Oh, Ryan going off track. Let's see what's going on with Ryan. Just those Degnas. He is not having a good time with those Degnas. Again, an epic save through there to keep the car going the right direction. Whew. These guys are certainly going through it. Take a look at Mark here in the Lamborghini. Currently working on Ryan Frey. Ryan working that outside line. That's where I would be. Should be able to keep the foot all the way to the floor. Here's where it gets tricky through Spoon. You gotta kind of stay to this outside and cut in late. And just be patient. Work your nose into the apex, and then once you're inside of the traditional racing line, you should be able to get a good run out of Spoon there to the backstretch. Mark Sherman currently P12 in the Lamborghini, Ryan P11. So far, got a little bit of a stalemate here. About 6/10 separates these two drivers. Ooh, Mark getting onto the curbing, able to keep it clean. Oh no, and Ryan in his quest to catch back up to the leaders, I think has had a moment. I want to see what turn one looks like with these guys. Ooh, and Mark almost losing it on the white painted pit exit line. Able to gather it back up. Let's see what happened to Ryan. Ryan's currently on the racing line. Gets a rear tire onto that curbing. And unfortunately, loses the rear end. And I think Ryan at that point decided to park it. Sometimes better just to park it and take a breath. Ryan's certainly fast, but you know what? That's why we actually do the race. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it does not. Mark currently still working on another Ryan, Mr. Frey. Frey. Ugh. He's told me this before too. I gotta tell you folks, if I mispronounce your name, it is not because I don't care or pay attention. My mind just does not work that way with names. I remember cars, stats, all that stuff, but for whatever reason, people's names just does not come easy to me. So if I'm getting your name wrong, feel free to hit me in the DMs or in the comments and educate me on that. It's definitely not my intent to butcher your name. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Got Michael getting a pass done, and that's probably on drivers in the pits. Thank you, Timing and Scoring, for leading me to a non-event. Let's see, what else? Tim Allman's going off track. What happened to Tim? Holy smokes, Tim certainly went off track. Tim went all the way off track. That was the end of it. Let's catch the beginning. Tim getting under that painted line and just unfortunately losing it, and the barriers being very unkind. Looks like he has some significant aero and suspension damage. Hopefully he still has his fast repair left to use. Got all kinds of people going off track. Caesar went off track. Let's see what's going on with Caesar. Yeah, just not the... Yeah, that's not an easy line through 130R. Gotta get off that curbing. But he survived it. Mark Sherman also went off track. Let's see what's going on with Mark. Yeah. Just not able to get that front end, the bite there. Probably braking a tad too late to get through there. I'm sure he'll be able to reset and get it where he needs to be. Philip Scott also having a moment. Yep. Degna strikes again. In these conditions, you have to brake a little bit earlier than you think you have to brake there, and you have to make sure you get enough of the inside so the front end grips up. It's alright. Phillips made it through. No harm, no foul. Currently, this is our closest battle. Everybody else has spread out significantly. But we're getting to the point where we should be in the pit cycle soon. And that will likely shake some things up. Ooh, and Mitchell getting a pass done. Looks like Mitchell's getting a pass done for P5. Helps if I hit play. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, and the BMW ahead. Let's see if I can actually catch that moment. So if he passed there, here's Patrick. What happened to Patrick and the monster BMW? Takes the inside line, but again, the painted surfaces just not being kind. Able to get it up and running, and oh, I just now noticed the rear tail lights on the Evo. Nice, those are the GTR tail lights. Love it, love it. Alright, let's get us back up to speed. And we have some guys going through pit cycles right now. And getting going. Mark changing it up in his battle. He's going to come out ahead of, looks like, Rob Dove. Go back to our leader, Ricky, still with a commanding 7-second lead. Putting in 15 and 16s up front and getting the job done just by keeping his nose clean. Richard Hibbs behind in the BMW, working on pulling that lead down. Certainly not the easiest. Oh, and I am seeing commentary coming in the Discord. What's going on in the Discord? Oh yeah, we have some drivers complaining about performance of iRacing, and yeah, this is definitely one thing to consider. You almost have to have a wet weather graphics setup. Rain can be just a massive frame rate killer in iRacing. Currently doing their best with this ancient graphics engine from 2007, but it is certainly a little hamstrung when it comes to CPU and GPU resources it's able to leverage. And these conditions are about the worst case scenario when it comes to rendering. Have multiple cars, massive track, lots of spray. Looks like Philip Scott contributing some of his woes to the weather. Good news, Phil. I think this is the last wet race of the season, so you won't have to deal with that anymore. But thanks for sticking it out. You were pretty darn fast out there. Philip currently falling down the leaderboard. Mark Sherman, unfortunately, it looks like Rob Dove was able to get around. See if I have that. Let's see, Rob, there we go. And Mark just having a moment, 130R going a little wide. Opening up the door for Rob to get by. Let's see if these guys are able to get back together. Ooh, Caesar having another moment. And you know what? The Degnas just don't seem to be vibing with the Aston Martins. This is not the first Aston Martin I've seen have difficulty through there. Oh, Tim Ullman, I think, is going to be able to get around the Porsche. Should have excellent drive all the way there on the outside because it's away from the racing line. It's got lots of grip. And, you know, that was a textbook example of why in the wet you need to stay off the traditional racing line. There is way less grip there, folks, but if you can get alternate lines like that outside line, you're going to be able to find a lot more grip, get a lot more drive, and find a ton of lap time. Oh, and that's perfect through Spoon. Yeah, TJ's got this figured out. Nice job, TJ. Let's get back on board with live action. Starting to see some other battles come together. Ryan currently with Caesar right behind. Two Aston Martins going at it in the midfield, currently battling for P7. Nathan Nickerson having a bit of a hard day. Looks like he has gone off track, down currently to P6. Oh, and that was the end of it. How about I get the right replay? Looks like 130R. Yeah, Nathan just little delayed getting through there, and car is just not settled. You know, a lot of spins happening right now, but it is certainly not for a lack of talent. These are very difficult conditions, and this track is already a challenge in the dry at the best of times. So when it comes to leaning on these cars to get the flow right, get the line right, and put together a competitive lap time, it is certainly a challenge. So yeah, definitely don't take this as a sign that these guys are struggling. I mean, they might be having some challenges here in the wet, but these guys are fast. Aston Martin still going at it. Going back ahead, we have Ricky Renner still up front, pulling out a little bit more of a lead over Rich Hibbs in P2, and Brandon Dooley holding down P3 in the Acura. Doing a nice job. And Mitch, did Mitch pit or did Mitch have a moment? Mitch, no, Mitch went off track. Let's see what's going on with Mitch. And just those white painted lines again. It's, you know, you're almost in a better situation there that if you think you're going to touch that painted line to bail out. And that's Nathan Nickerson getting by Mitch. Mitch doing a heck of a job, though. He is our highest placed silver driver, currently in P6. He went to the pit after that incident. Doesn't look like he contacted anything, so it looks like he just went in there, changed it up, get his pit stop out of the way, and get going again. Looks like we have some others going to the pits. Ryan Frey also going into the pits. Wonder if anybody's actually taking tires. Doesn't look like Ryan did. Yeah. Ryan definitely did not. The car ahead of him did not either. Woo! And Patrick sliding through the second Dagna. Doing a heck of a job, though. Up to P4 in the BMW.
Thanks,
What's Rob talking about? Oh, Rob being let by some lap cars. Nice, nice, nice. And everybody slowly but surely getting settled out. Caesar got past somebody. Oh. That's probably Christian, the 616. No, that was Ryan going in the pit, so we're going to ignore that. We knew that happened. Top Shorts having a moment into turn 1. And this is going to be tire on paint. Yep. Yep. Don't get me wrong, you can touch these painted lines, but you just have to be super ginger and have a little bit of a margin. If you are kind of at max commitment through there, max load, that will be enough to tip the scales into the slidey side, which we don't want. Uh-oh, Christian Ortiz in the Porsche. Looks like he's had a moment. That's where all the grip is. Where's the moment? I don't think there is a moment. I just think his speed got low enough for my system to detect it. I really need to mess with that threshold. Alright. Alex having a bit of a moment here in the spoon. Yeah, just going a little wide. That's okay. He's able to collect it. No harm, no foul. Ooh, let's go back to Alex, actually. He got a pass happening here. Whose Mercedes is that? That's P16. Huh, not sure who that was. Michael. What happened to Michael? Oh, we are not sure. I know Mike went through the pit cycle. Mike has gone back into the pits. Was there a off-track adventure? If there was, I don't see it. Huh. Alright, everybody has really spaced out here. Oh my goodness. Rich Hibbs currently going into the pit. Rich was in the lead. I'm going to assume that Ricky pit the lap before. Brandon in the pit as well. And now Ricky's coming around to the start-finish straight. We're going to see where he comes out in relation to Rich and Brandon. I think Ricky is easily going to get his position back. And indeed he does. Rich Hibbs not far behind. Yeah, Brandon Dooley coming out. Current top three, again, winning by just keeping their noses clean. And Patrick, I think, yeah, retaining his P4. Nathan Nickerson coming out behind in P5. Mitch almost getting that position. We're going to follow along. He is right there in passing distance. Looks like TJ in the background having another moment. Ooh, Mitch using all the track. Trying to get a run on Nathan. Oh, and being nice and patient through there. Conversely, Nathan just really hanging it out. But you know, Nathan's way is working. He's getting a little bit of time on Mitch. Got about 2/10 there in the Degnas just by taking a little bit more track, a little less brake. Alright, let's see. Oh, and that wasn't TJ, that was Tim in the McLaren. And yep, painted line strikes again. Ooh, this time able to protect the rear end. Nice job. Mark Sherman also having a moment. Braking on that white pit exit line. Just crazy how that hooks there. Let's catch it one more time. We'll slow it down. Watch when his brake lights hit. That rear end just steps right out. It's like hitting ice. Something happened to Caesar. Let's see what's going on with Caesar. Yep, Aston meet Degna. Degna doesn't like Aston. Let's see what's going on with Christian. Just went in a little hot, able to save it. Nice job, Christian. And following on with Mitch, looks like Nathan's able to eke a little bit more of a lead away. Getting through the S's here. Definitely tricky conditions, but these guys are getting it together.
Thanks, James.
Looks like we got about 5 seconds between P4, 5, and 6. I think we'll stay on board with Mitch, just see what's what. About 3.5 minutes to go here in this feature. I knew people were going to spread out in this feature, but I am actually shocked to the degree the group has spread out. Gap's pretty substantial between some of the cars here. But that's what rain will do. Rain is the great equalizer, and this is why we run rain at least in 1 or 2 races a season, giving everybody their moment to shine in it. And honestly, we all need to practice in the rain a little bit more. I know it's not everybody's favorite thing, but you know what? You learn so much doing it. And if you participate in the special events, the odds of you getting in a rain event, pretty good. So might as well have more practice under your belt. The more we practice, the better we get. Let's follow along with Ricky, actually. Gap to Ricky has come down substantially. I think Ricky had a moment somewhere. That or Ricky is short on fuel. We're going to find out. The gap has fallen to about 5 seconds. Looking at my logs here, I don't see anything with Ricky's name in it, so not sure what, if anything, has happened to him. But who I do recognize is Ryan. What happened to Ryan? Oh, paint. Oh, no. Didn't get the paint. Crossing over. Now we're in the paint. Ah. Alright. That paint be tricky. Ooh, and the gap to Ricky is... yeah, it is plummeting down. Rich Hibbs now 3 seconds behind. Again, I don't see any events for Ricky on my timing and scoring. So, I don't know what's going on. My first thought would be fuel. Just fuel saving to make it across the finish line. Sometimes the auto fuel software can get things wrong. That, or he's just had some moments that I am not aware of. That gap is still coming down pretty significantly, though. We're going to hang out with these guys. This is the white flag lap. Gap holding about 2.6 seconds. We're gonna come back to these guys in a second. Got more events coming up. Tim Allman having an issue in the McLaren. It just goes a little deep. He kept that clean. What's going on with Ryan Frey? Is Ryan gonna do basically the same exact thing? Nope, loops it on the racing line. Definitely happens. James Scott. There's a nothing burger right there, just going around the spun car. Speaking of the hairpin, that's where Ricky is right now, and the gap has come down again about another half a second. This is definitely gotta be a fueling issue. Yep. The gap's coming down in the braking zone, so that must be pretty significant lift and coast happening from Ricky. Gap is down to 1.75 seconds. I don't know if Rich is going to be able to catch him, but I know Rich is seeing the same data I'm seeing, so he is probably pushing like crazy. Down to 1.65, but I think unless Ricky runs out of fuel right now, he's gonna get it done. Yep, gap down to 1.3 seconds, and congratulations, Ricky Renner finishing P1. Rich Hibbs almost reels him back in, but it's gonna come across P2. We're gonna go to Brandon Dooley working his way around to the start-finish straight as we speak. Gonna come across P3. Nice job, Brandon. Oh no, and Patrick has had a moment going around 130R. What has happened to Patrick? Patrick just again losing it on the paint. That's gonna allow Nathan Nickerson to get back up to P4. Damage limitation.
Nice run, Renner and Hibbs. Guys are flying.
Nice job. Mitch Bowen, our top finishing silver driver is going to finish
Gracias,
P5. Patrick getting
And
back
good win
around
runner.
to P6 after that wild ride. Christian Ortiz coming around in P7. And Ryan Frey and Mark Sherman just getting through Spoon. Now through 130R. Ryan taking 0 chances this time through 130R. Approaching the final chicane, Mark Sherman about 1.2 seconds, but it's going to be too far away. Ryan Frey is going to take P8 with Mark Sherman finishing behind in P9. Caesar in the Aston is going to finish P10. Well, nice job, everybody. Definitely challenging conditions, but I really appreciate all of you that stuck with it. These points definitely could make a difference throughout the rest of the season. So we appreciate you sticking out, helping drying out the track. Rob Dove finishing P11. Bob Schwartz
All that survived.
making his way through the final chicane in the
tried not to
Porsche.
survive.
I'll try harder next time.
And the Red Rider Christmas Story livery.
Did I
Gonna
really
finish
survive?
P12. Nice job, Todd.
Yeah, of all the races I've had, that one's the most recent.
And I think James Scott is going to be our final driver to make it across the line, and he's going to finish P15. Well done, James. Trying to get his learning done out there on the track. Yep, and the results have now been finalized. Let's get those up on the board. Well, again, thank you everybody for participating with us today. 19 drivers decided to show up and test their mettle against the rainy, hilly trackside here for Suzuka. We appreciate you doing so. Let's take a look at the schedule, see what we have coming up for the rest of the week. The next race should be on Tuesday with the MX5 Challenge. We're going to be at Phoenix International Raceway. It's another oval with a road course. It's going to have tons of opportunity for drafting and chaos, which we love in our MX5 series. And then the hits keep on coming with the GTD Challenge. We will be at Bathurst for a dry session of fun for the GTD Challenge. So we hope you come out and join us for that. Well, that is going to do it for us here with the GTD Challenge at Dark Helmet Racing League. My name has been, or rather has been, my name's Morgan here with Cleveland Beamer Sim Sports. I hope you have a great evening, and we will catch you on Tuesday.